Welcome back to My Face. My name is Brianna. I'm the head honcho here at Bambymedia, and today I have something extra special planned for all you podcasters out there that are really struggling to find content, where you're feeling a bit like, I did an episode on the podcast slump a little while back, and this is one of those areas where it can be hard when you're kind of struggling for content. So this is something I want to give you, it's a really quick and easy way to get some ideas, and it's going to be a walk-off. This is a walk-off between ChatGPT and Google BARD. So we're doing an AI battle here between these two, and I want to use the same prompt for both of them, and I'm going to see what the output is on these, just to see whether there's one that's better than the other. So I am using the free version of ChatGPT just because I wanted to make sure this was a no barrier, like super low barrier to entry, wouldn't cost you anything if you're really starting out. The only thing I will say about Google BARD is that you do need to have a Google Workspace, as far as I know, at time of recording, a Google Workspace account so that you can actually do that. If you don't know what either of these things are, and especially if you don't know how to get BARD working, Google that, because I'm not going to go explaining it in this episode, but there are a few things you kind of have to do to make sure that you can actually get BARD happening. So here it is. Here is ChatGPT. Yours might look a bit different to mine because I've got some plug-in things that we're looking at here. But you can see it's just the chat box. Can you give me 10 different topic ideas for my podcast? Pump up your pod. This podcast is all about podcasting for beginners. Okay, that's the prompt. I'm going to copy that. And then I'm going to send a message. ChatGPT is going to start doing its thing. And then we're going to go over to Google BARD, which is the rival. And we're going to put the same prompt in. Can you give me 10 different topic ideas? Give me the things. Run. Okay, so it's going to do that. The thing about BARD is, straight off the bat, it doesn't give you show you that it's kind of typing and figuring it out. It just goes blip and it gives it to you like that. And then if we go to ChatGPT, you can see that it's kind of doing things because, well, it's gone away now, but you can see that it's kind of thinking and generating stuff. All right, so then what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at how it's done. Let's zoom in a bit here. Okay, creating your first episode, a beginner's guide. Discuss the process of planning, choosing the right podcasting equipment, the art of podcast hosting, monetizing your podcast, promoting your podcast on socials, finding your podcast niche, guest selection, interviewing techniques, improving your podcast with listener feedback, building a community, and from idea to launch. And let's see what BARD did. Okay, so we've got here, what is podcasting, how to start a podcast, podcast equipment, marketing, promotion, interviewing guests, editing and production, podcast monetization, trends, best practices, case studies, the future of podcasting. Okay. Based off of this, for me, this is better. Google BARD has given me stuff that's more interesting as far as topics go. These ones over on ChatGPT free version are a little bit more play school, and I mean that's not bad because it is for beginner podcasters, the show Pump Up Your Pod, but I wouldn't use them as much as I would use the BARD version. So far BARD is winning. Now, next thing I'm going to do, and this would apply to you no matter what the topic, right? If you're like in the health and wellness space or something, instead of you saying, can you give me 10 different topic ideas for my podcast, Pump Up Your Pod? You would say, can you give me 10 different topic ideas for my podcast, I Love Avocados? This podcast is all about people who love eating avocados, right? So the prompt is different depending on the industry that you're in. So when you have those topics and you've gone through them and you're like, sweet, I really like a lot of these, then you can copy here, and you can also copy in BARD as well. Share and export, and you can draft it straight into a Gmail if you wanted to send this straight to your VA and be like, hey, can you put all these in that production spreadsheet thing that we have or whatever. It's cool that you can do that, and you can export it straight to Docs. I also really like that. But once you get these topics and you're like, cool, I really like podcast monetization, then I'm going to write on the topic, podcast monetization, please give me 5 subtopics that would be good to explore on this topic within my podcast episode. Okay, cool. So then we've got that one. Copy, submit, and then we're going to do this one over here, and we're going to go to ChatGPT, and we're going to do the same thing. Give me the things, give me the things. Okay, so we're going to go back over to BARD, and we're going to have a look. Sure, here are 5 subtopics that would be good to explore on the topic of monetization. Types of monetization, how to attract advertisers, how to get sponsorships, how to sell merch, how to crowdfund. Then we're going to go to ChatGPT. And let's see, sponsorships and ads, crowdfunding and listener support, affiliate marketing, premium and bonus content, product and merch. Very similar. The thing that I like as well is that it gives you, in both cases, it gives you like the topic and then it's like, here's a little summary of what I mean by that. Okay, so we've got those. Now, that is super helpful. Doesn't really matter which one you choose. It seems like this walk-off is inconclusive. I don't think that there is one that's better than the other from what it spurted out. I mean, I think BARD was a little bit more suited to my personal needs. And it looks a bit better and it's a bit cooler, like it looks a bit groovier, and there's some other things that you can do here, like export. You can also listen to it, and I think it's based on your IP address. If you hit that listen button, it will talk this response out for you in the accent that is associated with that IP address. I would love for someone to try that, and based on your IP, like what does it sound like? Because the few videos I've seen of BARD, it seemed like it was based on that, but I haven't researched that or looked into that at all, so I don't know. Cool. And then you can also go and Google it, which I like about the BARD one, because then based off of that, you can go, okay, well, can I find more information about this? Because I don't want hallucinations. If you don't know what hallucinations are, that's something else to Google and find out about, because AI does definitely not always tell you the truth. So you can't just be quoting it as gospel. In fact, don't do that at all. So then you can just click on that and go, all right, what are the subjects of a podcast? Where is this information coming from? And then it just gives you like the links based on that thing. I find that to be helpful, and I like that because ChatGPT, you're sort of like, well, you kind of have to go away from it to sort of cite or have a look at what it's talking about there. I think for me personally, for what I need, I'm going to say that I like BARD better at this point. Free version, okay? I'm not talking about ChatGPT 4 and all the fancy things. I'm just talking about the free versions of these AI tools for you. I personally think that Google is a bit, the BARD aspect is cooler for this context, meaning creating and getting content ideas for your show. This is one area that you can look at using AI for. The thing I'd like to say about this though is that, yeah, it's all very well and good to grab 10, 15, 20 topic ideas from ChatGPT. It's really cool to then go that step further and go, okay, what would be the subtopics on this one? But you still need to know what you're talking about, right? I'm not going to go to one of these tools with no knowledge on the thing and then be like, oh yeah, cool, I could talk about how to invest in the stock market because ChatGPT is telling me what I could talk about, and then just be a complete fraud and the worst person ever. So don't use these tools to make yourself sound fancier than you actually are. Use these tools as a guide to help you further get into the sort of zone of creating the content that you want to create. I find it really useful for that, to go, oh my God, I didn't even think about that topic. And yes, that would be amazing. That is where I'm using this tool specifically for content creation. I think that ChatGPT and BARD are fantastic options. I think I'm probably going to be using BARD more for my personal experiences, but it remains to be seen. Could be something else launched tomorrow. In the state of the world at the moment, who knows what is going to happen in this space. I hope that you have really enjoyed this video. If you want me to do more like this, where I'm like versing things and reviewing stuff, then please let me know, because this kind of content is a hell of a lot of fun to provide for people. If you've got value from this video, please hit the subscribe button, like the channel, and I will be back with you very soon.